Right. Good morning, guys. All right, sir. And check it what we completed in the last session. Good. All right, sir. And check it what we completed in the last session, if we understand it. So in the last classes, just we started introductory part for the content, introduction to the modules. Introduction to the modules here we are displaying there. In that introduction to the modules here, what we are getting now, all right, sir. Now I'm asking some questions to you. Now try to answer for it. So what is the purpose of the core module in Spring framework? What exactly the intention of the core module, what we are getting there? Right, sir. So what is the purpose of the core module? That what we are getting there. Now let us check this point clearly. So already given some information for what there, all the modules details about the Spring framework. At each and every module, what exactly that means the topics or concepts are available that we have to understand clearly. Now let us check this clearly. What exactly the modules related information is available inside the Spring framework. If you observe the Spring 1.x version, you can understand the close the door. You can understand the diagrammatic representation for these modules. First of all, so what exactly the module one, the very first one here, that means 1.x version, Spring core module initially, on the top of it, Spring AOP module, Spring web module, in between that, JDBC, web, DAO, and what next one here, Spring context. These are the overall modules what we have inside the Spring 1.x version. Similarly, in Spring 2.x version, Spring core module, Spring AOP module, Spring JDBC DAO, Spring ORM, after that, Spring J2EE context, Spring web MVC. These modules are existed clearly in a 2.x version. In a Spring 3.x version, so Beans core context Spring expression language, these are under core container, AOP aspects instrumentation, and data access and integrity and Spring web, JDBC, ORM, OXM, and JMS. Next one is a web servlets, portlets, and struts. These many modules are available inside the 3.x version. Commonly 4.x, 5.x, then after that what next one here 6.x. In all these cases now the modules are very same. What modules are available? Spring testing, Spring core container, Beans core context, and SPL. SPL is what there? Spring expression language. SPL, Spring expression language, that what we are having. Then after that, after completion of it, 1 minute. No, just 1 minute, sir. Guys, guys, now please confirm to me. All of you get my voice. All of you get my screen. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my screen. Is my screen is clear to all of you? I think so. I opened some document, our actual class document. I opened here. Now check this. No, guys. Now I think you are getting it now, right? Document, you are getting it right. Yeah, that image only. Right. Fine. Yeah. Please check this. Right, sir. Now check this one. In the case of this 3.x version, what we are getting there clearly, 3 point, that means 4.x, 5.x, and a 6.x version, what we are getting there. Data access or integrity, Spring Web, JDBC, ORM, OXM, JMS, Web, Servlets, Portlets, WebSocket, AOP, Aspects, Instrumentation, Messaging, Beans, Core, Context, SPL, and Spring Testing. These many modules are available. These are common modules in each and every version of the Spring framework. Okay. Then after that, overview of the Spring framework. This topic here we started clearly. In that overview, the very first one is what the Spring core module. What is the Spring core module? Actually, this module is able to provide the basic Spring components like IOC containers, bean management, and their life cycle, dependency injection principles, and so on and so on and so on, which are available in the Spring framework. The basic, very fundamental components, very fundamental components, what we are having inside the core module that are going to be covered, not only in core module, inside the total Spring framework that are going to be covered inside like what their Spring core module. Right, in Spring JDBC and DO module, what is the purpose of it? by using by using plain JDBC, we are able to prepare JDBC applications with the following steps. What are the various steps here we have to provide there? First one is load and register driver. Then for that we have used some instruction class.forName method. Next one is establish connection between Java application and a database. There we are having like what there connection con is equal to driver manager.get connection of three parameters here we provided. One is a driver URL, next one is a database username, database password. Create a statement. Statement st is equal to con.create statement. Write and execute SQL queries. Results at rs is equal to st.execute query of select star from emp1. That's what we are getting. Then after that, not only that, and int row count is equal to st.execute update of update SQL query here we provided. After that, close the resources. Now these three close methods here we are providing. But in this overall concept, in the overall JDBC steps now, step number one, load and register the driver, establish the connection between Java application and database, and create statement. Next one is what there, close the resources. These steps are very much common. Only the variable from application to application is what there, write and execute SQL queries. Write and execute what there, SQL queries are varied. Understand it clearly. So in this overall scenario, what is the point here I'm telling to you after completion of this? Whatever the common statements which are available from one application to another application, these common instructions are called as what their boilerplate code. This total common code is nothing but what their boilerplate code. This boilerplate code is not at all suggestible in our Java applications. So to overcome this problem, Spring JDBC has given some abstraction layer for this boilerplate code. It is going to be happen internally, but a simplification is provided for the developers. That simplification is what their template classes. That Spring JDBC has given a set of template classes to abstract this entire boilerplate code. That abstract the total template class are nothing but what there JDBC template, named parameter JDBC template, simple JDBC template, JDBC call or simple JDBC call, something else. Different template classes are provided by Spring JDBC. By using the template classes, directly we can execute SQL queries. By using the template classes, directly we are able to write and execute SQL queries. No need to perform these 5 steps or 4 steps on every time kernel. Directly we can write and execute our SQL queries. Right, sir? Now this is exactly the point here what I'm telling to you about this content here. That's okay, fine. Because of that reason, Spring JDBC module is required. Next one is after this, after completion of this, Spring AOP module. Spring AOP module. What is the purpose of this AOP module? All right, sir. I'm giving clarity. Now try to understand it clearly. Spring AOP module is able to provide a very good environment, a very good environment to provide or to integrate the generic services like logging, comma, next one is what there, internationalization, comma, security in the sense authentication and authorization, right? All and so on and so on and so on with the enterprise applications. With the enterprise applications. Understand it clearly. Next one is, what's the point here? In a simple point here, what I'm telling here, how it is possible, how we are going to do this particular work here. In a simple statement, I'm telling to you, if you want to prepare an enterprise application by using the conventional object-oriented programming, then we have to provide the implementation by combining both the services logic and business logic. Services are what? These are the services. What are the services? I said to you some examples I'm telling there. Logging, internationalization, security. Next one is like what there? Exception handling. Then after this, and so on and so on and so on. These are like what their services. The services and business logic, application business logic, both must be provided in a combined manner. In a single location, both must be embedded. Understand it clearly. So this approach will provide tightly coupled design. It will reduce shareability. It will reduce shareability and reusability. It will reduce like what there? Shareability and reusability. Both are not going to be existed here. It will reduce what their shareability and reusability. That's it. Now in this case, to overcome this problem, we need to go for AOP, aspect oriented programming. Right, later on I'll show in the point of diagram here, by that you are able to get it clearly. All right, sir. If you want to prepare an enterprise application by using the conventional object-oriented programming, then we have to provide the implementation by combining both the services logic and business logic. This approach will provide tightly coupled design. It will reduce shareability and reusability. Understand it clearly. Then what next one here? After that, after completion of this, after understanding this point here, to overcome the above problem, we have to apply aspect orientation over the object oriented programming. What is the solution here? No? To overcome this problem, we have to apply aspect orientation over the object oriented programming. All right, what's going on in aspect orientation? In the case of aspect orientation, what we will do there? We will separate the services logic from the business logic. Initially, in object orientation, both we provide in a combined manner. Now we are going to separate the services logic from the business logic. Services logic is separated from the business logic. Now it is very clear that some components are business components, some other components are what their service components. Very clear that. After that, what next one here? No, we will separate the services logic from the business logic and comma, we will declare each and every service as an aspect, like logging aspect, comma, authentication aspect, comma, then what next one here apart from this, and so on. Internationalization aspect, whatever it may be. Some examples here I'm telling there, try to recognize this, like this, and so on. All these are like what their aspects. All these are like what their aspects. And after declaring these aspects, what we will do, and we will inject these aspects, we will inject these aspects into the program execution at a runtime as per the requirement. That's it. This is the basic idea of what their aspect orientation or aspect oriented programming. Everybody understand it clearly? Initially, what is the actual problem with object orientation? Now tell me. In the case of object orientation, see, first point is what? In any enterprise application, in all enterprise applications, we have to use business logic and services logic in a combined manner. Both we have to use. That means in general, we have to use both. If it is an object oriented programming, we are going to combine them. We are going to use combinedly. Okay, where tightly coupled design we are getting. To overcome this problem, we have to perform like what there loosely coupled design. To provide loosely coupled design, we have to use what mechanism here we have to use there, aspect orientation here we have to use. In aspect orientation, what we are going to do, what is the basic idea behind this aspect orientation? The services we want to get separately and business components we want to provide separately. Then each and every service we have to declare as what there as an aspect. Inject these aspects to the business program at execution here. At runtime, we have to inject the aspects as per the requirement. Then what are the various advantages? I'll give that information to you. No need to worry for it. Observe carefully. Now, the above aspect orientation is able to provide loosely coupled design in the enterprise applications. See, now onwards, I'm telling you, wherever I'm using Java application, by default, we can think of it is what there, an enterprise application only. Spring is mainly for what there, enterprise application development. Before this, if I say Java, then it is a Java program. But now, if I say Java application, by default, we can think it is what there, an enterprise application. Always we are going to talk about what there, enterprise applications only. Right, sir. Now, the above aspect orientation is able to provide loosely coupled design in the enterprise applications, and they will provide more reusability and shareability. More reusability and shareability. But how, sir? How the reusability and shareability both here we are able to get? That's my question. Right? Definitely, I'll give some content here, some introductory part about this aspect orientation. I'm going to provide in a diagram. Try to understand this content clearly. Right? For example, simple, very simple diagram. Now try to understand it easily. We can identify this. Right. Now, first of all, I want to prepare a program, an application here I want to prepare. What is that application here I want to prepare there? First, recognize this. There we can understand. This is like what their class A. Inside this class A, I want to take some methods. What methods here I want to take there? Void M1 method. This is one business method. There we are able to have some instructions. Similarly, so we are able to have multiple methods. Like this here, we're having multiple methods. Now this is like what there? M2 and M3. Overall, 3 methods. In an enterprise application here, we have taken. That's okay, fine. So this is my program. Everybody understand it, no? Clearly. Just we can understand it, how this example is going to be happen. Easily we can understand the intention of the AOP. Easily we can identify this, the purpose of the AOP. Okay, fine. Now observe carefully. Now my requirement is what there in M1 method, M2 method, and M3 method. Business logic is available. Okay, right, sir. Now I'm going to write the details here. Now try to understand it now. First one is in M1 method. What exactly the logic here we have to provide there? First of all, I require logging is a service basically. We can understand it now. So logging service is required. Okay. Then after this, business logic is required. Business logic is required. Then after this, transaction service is required. Transaction service, this is service actually. Right. These three things are required in all the cases, no? But apart from this, here we require like what there, logging is also required. Right, sir. Overall, these are the services and business logics what we required here. Just 1 minute. Yeah, I'll provide this. Don't worry. Yeah, not sufficient. Okay, 1 minute. Everything is not good. Shows clearly I'm not good painter. Okay, 1 minute. Wait. Just give 2 minutes of time to me. I'll set it. Now I'm good painter. Now understand it clearly. At each and every business method, all these are like what their business methods. At each and every business method, what I required actually, all the phases here we required. I think so. Logging I've written 2 times. Okay, no problem. It's okay, fine. Now understand it. Now tell me, sir. I'm asking this question to you. Actually, I said to you this is M1, M2, M3, right? And instead of saying that M1, M2, M3, I can say that these are like what their business method. This is one business method 1. This is what their business method 1. Similarly, this is like what their business method 2. This is business method 2. Now this is like what their business method 3. Like this, these are like what their business methods. All these are like what their business methods. Okay, fine. I'm asking one question to you. How many business methods are available in this example? Overall, 3 business methods are available. Am I right or not? At each and every business method, what services are common now? Tell me. Logging and transactions. These 2 services are common. Observe carefully. But business logic is definitely varied from one business method to another business method. Business logic is varied, but the point is what there, services are common. Logging and transactions, no differentiation about the services. Got it or not? Overall, in this entire application, in this total entire application, how many times we provided implementation for logging? Now tell me. Right, sir. Now tell me how many times we provided implementation for this logging actually. Overall, how many times here? No, 3 times here we provided. For this 3 business method, 3 times logging we provided. How many times transaction implementation we provided here? 3 times here. No, but in a single application, in a single program, so logging we provided 3 times code, transactions we provided 3 times code. Then where is the meaning of where we are providing reusability and shareability? Where we provided reusability and shareability? Now tell me. So this approach is providing or not providing? Reusability and shareability, not providing. This approach is not providing. Right, exactly. In this particular situation, I want to improve reusability and shareability. Right, because of that reason, I want to apply what there? I want to apply aspect orientation. I want to apply what there? Aspect orientation. How we are going to apply this aspect orientation? Now understand it. I'm going to use some mechanism. Try to follow this mechanism. First of all, whatever the services we have used in our application, separate them first of all. First, we have to separate all the services in outside. What services I am using here? Two services, for example. Separate them in outside. All right, perfect. Now I'm going to separate these services here. I don't require this logging. Leave this one. Now here also I don't require what there? Transaction. Just leave this here. Similarly, here also be logging is not required. Leave it, and transactions is also be not required. Just remove all the services from our business components. All right. Previously, the logic here we have to write like this only. But as per this aspect orientation, don't provide logic in this way. Okay, fine. Now these are like what their methods. Now these business methods must be provided for only business logic. No need to provide any services logic. Everybody understand it clearly? These business methods must include only business logic. No need to include what their services logic. Right. This is the point here what I'm telling to you. Next one is what there. Then after this, after completion of this. So what I said to you, as per the aspect orientation, first to declare the services separately. Right, how to declare the services separately, we can understand it, no? The first one is what they're logging. This is one service, understand it, no? And the second one is what they're, say for example, previously what we provided, you know, transactions. This is one service. And before all these things, say for example, one more thing I want to include, that is what their authentication, for example. Authentication, okay, security, for example. So this is logging, this is like what the transactions. These are the three separate services that we provided separately. Not only that, so what we have to do there, declare each and every service as what there an aspect. This is like what there authentication aspect. All right, sir. Now observe carefully. This is like what there authentication aspect. This is like what there authentication aspect. At the same time, now this is like what I'm telling there logging aspect. And at the same time, now here we can provide, this is like what their transactions aspect. These many aspects are available. Understand it clearly. Now, before going to understand, before going to inject these aspects, no, first to create some join points in the program execution. Join points in the sense, in the business components, exactly the locations where we want to apply these aspects. First, to define the points where we want to apply these aspects. In general, the points are what there before calling method, after executing method. In general, the join points are like what there before executing the method and after executing the method. See, in the previous object orientation, inside the M1 method, that services and business logic both I've written. But this time, I'm not putting the point inside the method. I'm putting the join point before the method, after the method. Everybody understand it clearly. Now, observe carefully. Now, my requirement is what? I'm going to prepare one XML file. In that XML file, I'm going to define which aspect for which join point. Which aspect is going to be applied for which join point. That we are going to give a plan. As per that plan, these aspects are going to be injected. Now, try to understand it clearly. All of you know. First of all, this is like what I'm telling you. This is what aspect here. The first one is what there authentication. That means I want to say like what there aspect one. For example, just I want to give a name or maybe authentication aspect or simply aspect one that we are going to provide. And the second one is what there aspect two. There is a name, or maybe we can call it as what there logging aspect. And the third one is like what I'm telling to you. The third one here we can understand it clearly. This is what there aspect 3, or simply here we can say like what there some other like what there transactions aspect. Like this, here we define these aspects. As per the plan, what's the point here I'm telling there? These authentication aspects may be required before M1 method, before M2 method, and before M3 method. In general, authentication is required before each and every business execution, business method execution. Nobody will perform authentication after the business method execution. Yes, sir. In our, for example, Gmail is available. If you want to open Gmail, no mail account, first we have to complete authentication. After that, no, you will get that home page or not. Or else after getting home page, you are getting this authentication. No, it's invalid. That's why think about it. Minimum thing is what there. Authentication is required before the business methods execution. That's why authentication is required before M1, before M2, before M3. That is what we require. Next one is logging is required. All of you observe carefully. Logging is required before M1, after M1, before M2, after M2, before M3 and after M3. At each and every point, logging is required. Logging is required at each and every point here. Observe carefully. Now, if you observe the transactions, actually, transactions is required after the methods only. See, when the transaction commit operation we are going to perform, after the business execution only committing is going to be performed here. So, transactions is required after M1 method, after business method execution, after M2 method execution, after M3 method execution. That's it. Now, this is the total my proxy. This entire scenario is nothing but what there? Proxy. The proxy is nothing but what there? That services are injected at the join points in the business components. Business components with the inclusion of what there? Services. This entire thing is nothing but proxy. Over that proxy only, we are going to call what there? Business methods. Overall, this entire scenario is nothing but what? Aspect orientation. This entire scenario is what there? Aspect orientation. Right. One simple point I'm telling there. Previously, if you observe this object orientation process, inside the M1 method, services and business logic is available or not? How many business methods you have taken previously? 3 business methods we have taken. At each and every business method, separately we define logging, separately we define transaction, and separately we provided what there? Authentication. Understand it now. For example, if I want to change the implementation in authentication, then in how many places I have to change that authentication model? Almost all at 3 locations I have to change it or not. But when it comes to this aspect orientation, how many times we define this aspect authentication? Only one time. If I perform modification at one location, automatically it is reflecting to every business component or not? Now tell me, maintenance of the services is very simple or not? Now this is acting as loosely coupled design or not? That previously it is like what there? Tightly coupled design here. Understand it now. So loosely coupled design here we are getting. Code maintenance is very simple if it is a case now. Then not only that, the 2 important factors like what there? Previously, observe carefully, 3 business methods, 3 times we define login, 3 times we define all services separately. Then where we provided shareability and reusability. Reusability in the sense what there? One time if we define that, that we have to use again and again without redefinition. And what is the meaning of shareability? One copy if we have there, that we could provide to multiple programs at a time. Got it or not? So these 2 are not available in the case of what there? Object orientation. But when it comes to the aspect orientation, observe carefully, how many times we define this authentication? Only one time we define here. But how many times we are using there now? Tell me. Almost all 3 times here we are using. Understand my point here now? But all 3 business methods may be executed parallelly, may be executed sequentially, that doesn't matter. If it is sequential, reusability. If it is parallel, shareability here we are getting. Now tell me, similarly, how many times we define logging? Actually, only one time we are defining. But how many times we are applying this logging there? Nearly 6 locations here we provided. At a time, all 6 locations it may provide what there? Logging, or maybe one after another it is able to provide what there? That logging here. Understand it clearly. Similarly, transactions, we define only one time, but how many times it is available for us? No. How many times we are using this? No. Almost all 3 times here we are using that. Now tell me, reusability and shareability both are achieved through this particular mechanism or not? Reusability and shareability both are achieved or not? Right, so now this is exactly the benefit of like what there? Aspect orientation. This is an advantage of what there? Aspect orientation, what we are having. Getting it clearly? All right, sir. Now here, just I want to take this diagram. So this is, if you understand this diagram clearly, easily we can provide like what there? Aspect orientation advantage. That's okay, fine. Leave this part here. After completion of this aspect orientation, that module here, the next module here, what I am telling there, Spring like ORM module, Spring ORM module. What is the purpose of the Spring ORM module? What is the need of it? Important modules one I'm telling there, but too much internal concepts I'm not going to discuss at present. Why? Because just it is a overview of the modules. Once we are moving into the concepts there we are going to understand each and every point effectively. All right, now let's understand it. Spring ORM module. What is the Spring ORM module? What is the purpose of it clearly? Everybody understand it clearly. The main purpose of Spring ORM module is to integrate any ORM implemented applications with the Spring framework, Spring applications. Already we have an application, Spring application, where ORM implemented tools related code I want to include. For that purpose, we need to go forward there, Spring ORM. Understand it clearly. Best example I'm telling to you in a simplified manner. In the Spring applications, Spring based enterprise applications, if we want to integrate ORM implemented tools like JPA, Hibernate, or if you understand it clearly, Hibernate or JPA, Open JPA, and so on, IBATIS. These are the technologies, ORM implemented tools only, and so on. Then we have to use Spring ORM module. That's it. Come again. What is the point I'm saying to you? If you want to integrate Hibernate application with the Spring application, only simple. If you want to integrate Hibernate application with the Spring application, there we must go forward there. This is Spring ORM module. That's it. Not more than that. Nowadays, ORM stands for Object Relational Mapping. Its main intention is to perform what their database operations. What are the database operations? CRUD operations. What are the CRUD operations? Insert, update, delete, and like read operations. These are like what their CRUD operations. To perform these CRUD operations, we have already JDBC, but JDBC takes a lot of time and boilerplate code. To overcome the Hibernate, we are able to use. Understand my point? So our database layer is available in the form of Hibernate. That if we want to use in our Spring application, then we should require some integration layer. That integration layer is nothing but what there? Spring ORM. Simply, straightly, I'm telling to you clearly, the main intention of the Spring ORM module is what there? To integrate Hibernate related applications, or simply speaking, ORM implemented tools applications with the Spring applications. In a simple words, Hibernate with Spring or Spring with Hibernate, their ORM module is required. Leave this punch. Apart from this, after completion of this, Spring transactions module. Spring transaction module. Everybody understand this clearly? Spring transactions module. Right, sir. What is the purpose of this Spring transaction module? I think you are not aware about this transaction model. Even in JDBC also it is not completed yet, but I'm giving some points to try to understand it now. In every database operations, when we perform the database operations, after performing database operations, we must perform either commit operation or rollback operation. Am I right or not? We have to perform what there? Either commit operation or rollback operation. Everybody understand it now? Commit or rollback, either of these here we have to perform. To perform this commit or rollback operations, we required transaction support. We required what there? Transaction support. This is one point. Next one is, in the enterprise applications, when data is shared by more number of threads, more number of programs, automatically some concurrency problems will come. Automatically, what problems here we are able to get there? Concurrency. Data concurrency problems here we are able to get. To overcome these concurrency problems, we are going to apply isolation levels. What levels there? No, isolation levels there we are going to apply. Then who is going to provide that isolation levels in our enterprise applications? No, there also we can think of it, transactions. The transactions model is able to define what their isolation levels. Next one is, one transaction is executing in the middle of other transaction. Some transactions interference is going to be available. More than one transaction are executing in a different channel, in a different path. But how, which transaction has to be executed in which transaction, are now exclusive of which transaction, that the transactions collaboration is also available. For that purpose only we require some environment. That environment is nothing but what there, transactions behaviors. Some behaviors here we are going to define. That's also be defined by what there, transaction API. To perform all these things, we require some predefined support for Spring Framework. That predefined support is provided through what there, Spring Transactions module. Simply speaking, it is able to provide the JTA, that means transaction support in our enterprise applications in the form of like what there, Spring Transactions module. Right, so now let me check this clearly. In the enterprise applications, we will perform the database operations. We will perform the database operations as part of the database operations. We need transaction support like to perform commit or rollback, commit or rollback, comma, isolation levels, comma, transactions behaviors, and so on and so on and so on. Okay, right, sir, observe carefully. These many things that are performed by transaction, that means must performed here inside these enterprise applications. In enterprise applications, we will perform the database operations. As part of the database operations, we need transaction support like what there, like to perform commit or rollback, isolation levels, transaction behaviors, and so on. To provide all these transactions support, Spring Framework has provided a separate module in the form of Spring Transactions module. That's it. In the form of like what there, Spring Transactions module. Leave this one. This is like what exactly the meaning of what there, transaction support. Just observe carefully. After this, after completion of the Spring Transactions module, next one is what there, Spring Web module. What is the purpose of this Spring Web module actually? What is the need of it? All of you understand it? One more point here. Two types of frameworks I have given information to you previously. Now tell me, what are the two types of frameworks? Come on, what are the two types of frameworks? Now tell me. First one is what there? Web frameworks. And the second one is what there? Application frameworks. First one is what there? Web framework. And the second one is what there? Application framework. Tell me the difference between web framework and application framework. Name itself is giving clarity. Web frameworks is able to provide environment for the web applications, but application framework is able to provide environment for both web applications, any type of application, standalone application, web applications, distributed applications, database related applications, and so on and so on and so on. Clear? Tell me examples for MVC. That means examples for web frameworks. No, examples for web frameworks are what? Struts and JSF. Example for application framework is what there? Spring Framework. They are the points we understood already. Okay, listen. For example, I want to prepare an enterprise application. In that enterprise application, web layer I want to prepare, that pages and everything, that is web layer. I want to prepare that. I checked it. Spring Framework is also having its MVC module, but I didn't satisfied with MVC module, which is provided by Spring Framework. But my application requirements are satisfied with some other web frameworks in outside. They are Struts framework, maybe JSF framework, maybe. So my requirement is what? Web layer. The total layer I want to prepare by using Struts framework. But the remaining part of the enterprise application I want to prepare with what their Spring framework. At the end, I want to integrate my struts application with what their Spring framework. Will I forget my point or not? Web layer I want to prepare by using either struts or JSF. The remaining part of the enterprise application I want to prepare by using what the Spring framework. But at the end, if we want to combine all of them, we have to integrate that the web framework application like a struts application or JSF application with what their Spring framework. Right. For integration purpose, we require some predefined environment or not. That predefined environment is provided by what the Spring Web module. That clear cut predefined environment is provided by whom? Spring Web module. Understand it clearly. I'm not talking about Spring Web MVC. Web MVC is different. Only Spring Web module. Its main intention is what there? To integrate all the other MVC based framework applications with the Spring applications like what there? Struts and JSF with the Spring application. That's the intention of this particular one. Right, sir. The main purpose of the Spring Web module is to integrate the MVC based frameworks applications, the MVC based frameworks applications like struts, JSF and so on with the Spring applications, That's it. That is exactly the requirement of what their Spring Web module. Yes, sir. All of you are following my points, no? Right. Clear. Next one is after that Spring Web MVC module. Spring Web MVC module. What is the purpose of this Spring Web MVC module actually? What we are able to understand there? Nothing. Struts is one of the MVC based framework. JSF is one of the MVC based framework. Similarly, Spring is also having its own MVC framework internally. That framework is what there? Web MVC. It's mainly for the sake of what there? Preparing MVC based applications. Understand my point? It's mainly for what purpose there? Preparing MVC based applications. In which way we are preparing struts applications? In which way we are preparing JSF applications? In the same way we are preparing what there? MVC based application by using Spring framework. For that purpose we are using what there? Spring Web MVC module. Right, sir. Now understand it clearly. The main purpose of this module is to prepare MVC based web applications. Is to prepare MVC based web applications like struts applications, JSF applications, and so on and so on and so on. Simply speaking, MVC based framework. In which way we have struts and JSF. In the same way, Spring has its own MVC based framework. That is what there? Spring Web MVC. Sir, all of you are okay or not? Can I move forward? Right, sir. So, like this, so many modules are available inside the Spring framework. Not required to understand each and every module in the overview, but basic and mandatory modules information are given. Try to recognize this modules information. One thing I'm telling there. Interviewer may ask this question with Tell me what is Spring and how many modules are available inside the Spring. Tell me some description about each and every module. There is a chance of getting this question to get overall awareness on the Spring framework. By the time we have to say that Spring is an application framework, it is able to prepare applications on each and every corner of the enterprise applications. It is able to cover every corner, each and every corner of the enterprise application, and it is able to provide very good environment to prepare any type of application. Okay, mainly in Spring framework, so many modules are available, mainly 5 or 6 modules. What are these 5 or 6 modules? No, core module, JDBC module, ORM module, then after that, like a transactions module, then after this web module, web MVC module, and so on. But so many others are available, but these modules information is sufficient. Try to explain each and every module. So core module will cover the basic components of the Spring framework mainly. JDBC module simplifies the plain JDBC programs execution just by abstracting the common points, boilerplate code. Spring ORM module is to integrate Hibernate related applications with what there? Spring. Spring AOP module is for the sake of integrating some middleware services, some generic services with our enterprise applications like logging, transactions, or maybe security and so on. Apart from this, what next one you know? Spring Web module is mainly for the sake of integrating other MVC based applications like Struts JSF with our Spring application. Spring Web MVC, it's a mini framework about this MVC inside the Spring framework. Then it is able to prepare only web applications by using Spring framework. Like this, about each and every module, we have to give some explanation. By that, we are getting some clarity. Right, sir? Then after this, after completion of this total content here, the next topic, the very next topic is like what there? Steps to prepare first Spring application. Steps to prepare first Spring application. Right, sir. What exactly the steps we require to prepare this first Spring application? Everybody has to understand this content clearly. Right, sir. Initially, up to the core module, all the Spring applications are almost all standalone applications only, like simple core Java programs only. But approach is very simple. But the total approach here I'm going to prepare, try to understand it clearly. Right, sir. Now, step number 1. Everybody understand it clearly. The step number 1 is what there? Download and install Spring framework. Download and install the Spring framework. Right, sir. I'll go for each and every step here. No need to worry for it. And the second one is what? After that, all right, sir. Make ready. Just this step is a dummy step only for the sake of listing purpose. Only I'm writing this one, but understand it now. Make ready Java software. What Java software actually? Which version of the Java software? Minimum 17th version. We must install it. Why? Because right from first program onwards, we are going to use 17th version only Java. 17th version of the Java software. Next one is IDE, at least one IDE. All right, one IDE software. What is that IDE here? We are going to use there. IntelliJ IDEA, or maybe Eclipse, or maybe STS, anything. Just I want to list out them. IntelliJ IDEA, or Eclipse, or STS, Spring Tool Suite, comma. Then after this, apart from this, in the core module, for the first application, what we required here, ID is required, Java software is required, and so on. If anything is required, that we can prepare. So, are you getting it or not? Fine. Next one is number 3. Prepare a simple Java project, not like any enterprise applications, a simple Java project. Prepare a simple Java project by using IDE. Any IDE, we can use it. Next one is what there? Add. This step is very, very important. All of you understand it clearly. Add all the add all the Spring jar files. Spring jar files to the Java project. Add all Spring jar files to the Java project as a library. Okay. What? See here we prepared Java project, right? Prepare a Java project by using IDE. Then to that Java project, what we have to add there? Spring jar files. We have to add as a library. Got or not? But how many Spring jar files we required? What Spring jar files we required? I'll give list. No need to worry for it. But of course, then now itself I can give that list now. But officially I want to show what jar files here we require and what we are going to be add there. Each and every point I'm able to provide to you. Then after this, after completion of this, observe carefully. Then step number 5 is what there. Inside this project, prepare a bean component. Prepare like what there? A bean component. Prepare a bean component. Then what is that bean component? Now, how to prepare this bean component? What exactly the principles are required? Properties are required to prepare this bean component. We are going to understand it. Now, prepare a bean component. Then after that, the most important one, observe carefully, prepare Spring configuration file. Prepare what there? Spring configuration file, XML file. There we are going to prepare. Inside this, the bean configurations there we are going to provide. I'll show that points clearly. Next one is after that, prepare test application. What is the purpose of this test application? Whatever the project we prepared now, the project here we have to test or not. So test application, or maybe client application, whatever it may be. To test our Spring application, we have to prepare what their test application. These are overall prepare test application. At the end, execute the test application. Not required to execute the entire project. Just we have to run test. If we run the test now, automatically it will test the application. They're the required outputs we are able to get by executing this test application. That's it. Overall, these are the various steps here, what we required clearly. All of you understand it now? Now tell me. First one is what there? Download and install Spring Framework. Here I said to you, install Spring Framework as per the formality only. Actually, the thing is what there? Just a download Spring Framework. Downloading Spring Framework is not any other one. Downloading Spring Framework is nothing but what there? Just downloading jar files from internet. All jar files you are able to get in the form of a zip file. Download a zip file which contains only jar files. Then keep that zip file in particular location or system, export it where jar files are available. Required jar files you have to add to the Spring project. That's it, not more than that. Okay, no meaning of installation. Just only the meaning is for what there? Downloading the jar files. Next one is what? Now tell me, make ready Java software, one IDE, or maybe IDE may be anything, right? And Java software, minimum Java 17th version is required. I think all of you are using, I think 20th or 21st version, I think in our system, sir. Am I right? Yes, sir. Am I right? No, but still I'm using 17th version only in my system. So we are more advanced than me. Am I right? 21st version we are using, but I'm using 17th version there now. Okay, nice. Then prepare Java project by using what there? IDE. Definitely we have to prepare a Java project. If it is Eclipse IDE, right click on file and a new Java project. If it is in IntelliJ IDEA, the same process, file new project. There we are able to get Java project. Add all Spring libraries, required jar files to the Java project. Then prepare a bean component. This point onwards, application development. Prepare a bean component. Prepare Spring configuration file. Prepare test application. Finally, execute the test application. These are all the points here what we are going to do now. Right, sir. Now, for example, I want to go for one by one clearly all the steps here I want to prepare. Try to understand it now. If I complete all these steps one after another, there we are able to finish our content. All right, sir. Now there we are able to complete this first application. After that, we are going to see officially the modules, officially the content inside the Spring concepts here, Spring framework here, we are going to understand officially, right? Now, first of all, let's understand clearly what there. Download and install Spring framework. Right, sir. To download and install, again I'm telling that there is no meaning for install here. Nothing we are going to install. Just only downloading the jar files, adding the jar files to the project. That's it. Only that one we are able to do. Download and install Spring framework. To download and install Spring framework, we have to use the following steps. Or maybe not required to use that all the steps here. Directly, I want to give some steps here. Now try to understand it clearly. All right, sir. Open the below URL in the browser. Yeah, what URL? I want to give that URL to you. Now try to understand it clearly. Yes, sir. Now, even though the steps I'm giving there, the formality wise, I'm giving all the steps now, but try to follow my mechanism. What exactly the mechanism here I'm going to follow. All of you are getting it, what I'm telling to you. Okay. All right. Just Google it. Understand it? No? Just Google it. Then what we have to provide there? Spring downloads. Simple. What we have to use the word here? Spring downloads. Enter button. All right. Observe carefully. To download the Spring framework, here we are having some websites are available. Spring.io is available. I'm going to show that there from where we are not going to download the jar files. There it is providing Maven dependency. With that, we are not going to use Maven dependency immediately. We require only what the jar files. Why? Because we don't know Maven, right? Understand it clearly. So I don't want to use this. Next one is what there. sourceforq.net is available. Download Spring framework for free. Okay, then there also we are able to get what there. Spring framework, there also we here we are able to get it. Just let me check for one thing now. All right, sir. Packages are available. Report.spring.evo. Just 1 minute. Think so. My required tool is not available. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Let me check it. Any of you are attending these DevOps? No, I think majority of you are attending DevOps, right? Yes, sir. Am I right? Can you spell out the modules what you are having in DevOps? Just names I'm asking there. Are you aware about it? Yes, sir. Are you aware about it? Tell me, what is the purpose of it? JFrog, for what purpose you are using? Yeah. Anyway, better to search for the download operation with what there JFrog Spring download. Better to use this. Just it is like what there a repository. There it is able to manage what there all the dependencies. Just like Maven repository. Similar to that, JFrog repository is available. It is for some different purpose, but still it is acting as what there repository. That one also we are able to use. Yes, sir. Got or not? Okay, fine. I'll give that URL. Don't worry for it. Now, let me open a new tab. Yeah, that's okay, fine. Demo and all the things. I don't require this. JFrog architecture here we are getting. Just 1 minute. Products. 1 minute, 1 minute. Right. I think so. I want to go for a search clearly. JFrog artifactory is required. Right. Okay, fine. Okay, 1 minute. I think so. I have not performed right search here. Just 1 minute. That is old one. No. I'll give that. Okay, then as per your view, then I'm telling that I'll show that one. Repo.spring.io, right? If you think about it, I think so that the path may not be available. That's a older one. We may not get it properly. Yeah, I think so. Now it is coming there. I thought of it might be directly it will go to the Spring framework. Now it is coming there. Right, fine. Right, sir. Now it's okay. Find your package using the search bar. It's okay, fine. Then I need to go for artifacts here. Let me show one time here. Let me get it. After that, I'll give list of the content here. Then after this, here we have to go for 1 minute. I'll check for it. Spring framework build. Yeah, Spring framework library, artifactory lib. Yeah, that's nice. No, we are not getting it. 1 minute, sir. Now let me show this point here. All right, sir. Now, just I want to show some points to you. I want to give direct URL to you, so it will be good thing. Downloading is going to be happen. Yes, perfect. Right, sir. Now, just I want to let me remove this. Okay, it's okay, fine. Think it is not working here anyway. Then I'll give information to you. So I want to shorten this total process. That's why I'm checking for each and every URL. Why? Because there is a standard process for it, but I want to give some clarity for you. Milestone, yeah, directly here. This one here, if you click on it, no, then we are able to get it. Okay, why don't we copy this? Why don't we use this directly? Yeah, perfect. Now here we are getting this. Then where org Spring framework. Then after that Spring. Then after this here, if I click on it, this figure we are getting it. Directly I'm going to use this new. Yeah, it's okay, fine. All right, sir. Now, what happened? Yeah. Now see this one. Then where is the document here? Open the below URL in the Spring browser. So this entire URL here we can just no need to search for it. If you want to search for it, whatever the process I have done, that we have to do. It was recorded there, we can check it. But my simple advice to all of you is what to download the resource now. Directly copy this URL from the document, paste into the browser. Directly we will go to what location here now. If we do this, okay, 1 minute. Directly if we do that, I'm trying to copy that. If we click on it, enter button, it will open JFrog. Then inside this directly we are able to come to the direct location of the Spring framework. There what we are getting there now, just click on what the zip file. What zip file here, that name also here I'm going to provide. Let me copy this. There we have to provide the number 2. After writing this one, number 2. All right, sir. Now select the zip file. Select a link, this link. If I select this particular link, then what we are able to get there, if we select this link here, now see this one automatically downloading is going to be sorted. And my system it is downloading is sorted actually. That's it. What we have to do there, just simply directly just click on like what there. Of course, then if it is working there directly, why I'm taking that step now? If it is downloading directly, it's okay, well and good, right? Let me check it. Now it was downloaded already. It's okay, fine. Now here, what I am telling to you, let me, 1 minute. Open it. If I provide this, it has to download, right? Okay, directly it is not allowing us to download, or else maybe not in incognito window. Let me open here. Is it downloading? No, I think so. It's no. Okay. Then use the same process here. What I said to you, select here. Then what we have to select there? This particular one. So already link I have given there. Copy and paste this link in our browser. Then after that, select this one. Then automatically we are able to get the Spring 6.0.0-RC2 distribution .zip file will be downloaded. Understand it clearly. Once we are getting zip file, what we have to do? Yes, sir. What we are do? Then copy the zip file. Copy the zip file to the softwares folder. I think all of you are maintaining a separate folder for softwares. I think right from Java onwards, core Java onwards, we are having this kind of convention. In my system, definitely there is a folder in the E drive, softwares folder. There only I'm going to keep all my softwares. Every software is going to be available there only. Similarly, we can maintain our softwares folder, right? All right, so then copy the zip file to the softwares folder. Then after that, what next one you know? Unzip the file, unzip the zip file. Whatever the zip file here we are getting, unzip it. When we unzip it, there we are able to get like what we are able to get if we unzip this particular part here. Now let me check this one. Now here it is already downloaded. Let me open this downloaded one here. Now I want to copy this. Let me copy this. I want to keep all of them into like what there documents. Inside the document softwares folder is available in my system. Inside the softwares folder, so many softwares are available already. Now here I want to create a new folder. What is that new folder here I want to create here? Observe carefully. Now here I want to provide like what there Spring. I want to create this. Now inside this Spring, what I want to create there, I want to create I want to paste here inside the Spring folder. I want to paste this. All right, sir. Now there here we are able to get like what is the content where it is, paste item. Automatically it is available, right? Now zip file directly zip file is existed with me, right? Then after this, see, of course, even the same process even in Windows, no, right? You can maintain a software folder, just copy the zip file and paste into the respective software folder. There, what we have to do, right click on it. Then what next one here? Extract here option is available. We are able to have what option there? Extrovert gear. But in my system, directly I want to open it. If I open this, directly it will be provided gear. Automatically it's going to be open for me. There it is available. In MacBook, it's okay. One advantage is available, right? But in Windows, the process what there? Right click on it and extrude gear. Automatically the entire zip file is going to be extruded here. There are all the elements here we are able to see. What elements there we are able to see? A folder we can identify. Yes, sir, got it or not? What we are able to identify there? A folder here we can identify. What is that folder here? If you open that folder, there so many things are available where we required only lips. What we required here? Lips. Open this lips. All the jar files are available. In MacBook might be the jar file symbol is available like this. In Windows, there we are able to get what there? Dot jar file. Directly we are able to get it. There also be dot jar files only, but the symbols are different clearly. How many jar files are existed here? Now tell me here overall. If you observe this clearly, overall, how many jar files are available here? Maybe nearly 30 to 40 or 50 number of jar files are available. Okay. All these jar files we don't require in the first application. Out of all these jar files, we required only 3 or 4. Out of all these 40 to 50 jar files, just 4 or 5 jar files only we required. I'll give that list of jar files in the next upcoming steps. Out of all these jar files, which jar files we required, that I will provide to you clearly. By that, we are able to have some clarity. Nothing, sir. Which jar files we required here? Spring-core jar is required. Spring-beans is required. Spring-expression is required. Spring-support, that means Spring-bean support, or might be some support is required. Right, sir. Like this, 4 or 5 as of now. But when we are moving on to the next modules, automatically the module related jar files I'm going to include. Sir, got it or not? So only fewer jar files we required from all the jar files here now. All the jar files are not required. But maintaining these jar files at a particular location of our system is mandatory. If we do that, automatically we are able to have that entire Spring framework along with our system. Clear to all of you know? Alright, sir. So up to now, just what we completed here now, tell me. What exactly the process here we completed now, tell me here in this total content here. First, we provided all the steps here. The first step is what there, download and install Spring framework. So from where we have to download that maximum link I have given. Maximum link. We are not going to do anything. No need to search for, then Spring download JFrog. No need to search for it. Directly copy and paste this link in the browser. In the case in Chrome, if it is not working, open Microsoft Edge. Still, if it is not working there, Firefox we can open. Finally, we have to get it. Yes, sir, got it. But still, if it is not working, no, just tomorrow give information to me. I'll share my jar files with you. In the Google Drive, I will upload the jar files. There we can download it at least. Yes, sir. Okay. You want to? This option is right option, right? Huh? I'm sharing my jar files with you in the Google Drive, and you can download. That option is very good option, right? Yes, sir. Admission cancel. Huh? You have to download. Even I should not give this path also. I have to say that simply download jar files. That's it. That we have to do it. But maximum that link I have given there, try to follow that link. There we have to select the zip link. Then we are able to download it. Once we open it, there we are able to have some unzip it. There we are able to find like what there. Just unzip up to that one I'm telling there under this download and install. Apart from this, we are not having any other content. All right, sir. Next one is what there? Come on. Next one is what there now? Tell me. Make ready Java 17 software, one IDE software, IntelliJ and all, right? No need. Already this we completed. Am I right? Still you are expecting this step, no? Now tell me. Otherwise, I'll send you to my core Java classes there. At evening, one new batch is going to be start. I think it is already completed for you. From this point onward, this also might be you are having awareness, but I will give the steps to regarding this point onwards. Actually, I need to start our concepts right from what? Right from prepare bean component onwards, I need to start. But for the sake of your flexibility, I'm giving all these steps here. The downloading option I must give there. Java software and all these things already we are aware. No need to think about it. Then prepare Java project by using IDE. In IntelliJ that we are going to do there clearly, right? First of all, I will start programming with Eclipse IDE. After comfortable with Eclipse IDE, then I will start with what there? IntelliJ IDE. Then after that, I'll move on to what the next concept. No need to worry for it. Right, sir. That's okay, fine. Take 5 minutes break and come back now. I'll start JDBC classes. Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot. దేనిలో అండి? దీనిలోనా? అంటే సెపరేట్‌గా దాని ప్రాజెక్ట్ క్లాస్ అన్నట్లు ఏమి ఉండవు. యాక్చువల్‌గా నేను చెప్పేదేంటంటే లింక్ పెట్టినట్టున్నారు. ఓకే. ఓకే. అంటే దీనిలో క్లాస్‌లో మీకు ఆ ప్రాజెక్ట్ సంబంధించిన అన్నీ కూడా వచ్చేస్తా ఉంటాయి సెపరేట్‌గా. ఓకేనా? అదే. అంత అంత టైం ఉండదు. అంటే పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది కోర్సే మీకొస్తా ఉంటది. అంతే. అంటే ఇప్పుడు నేను తీసుకున్న ప్రాజెక్ట్ కూడా చిన్న చిన్న ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ కూడా దగ్గర దగ్గర 2000 లైన్స్ ఆఫ్ కోడ్ అట్లాంటివి తీసుకుంటా ఉంటాను. మాడ్యూల్స్ తీసుకుంటా ఉంటాను. అండ్ అట్ ది ఎండ్ మీకు ఆటోమేటిక్‌గా అవేర్‌నెస్ వస్తుంది. మళ్ళీ సెపరేట్ టైం వేస్ట్ అదంతా కూడా. సెపరేట్‌గా ఒక పర్టిక్యులర్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ తీసుకొని దాని మీద చేపించేదేమో అంత టైం ఉండదు. నేను దీన్ని ఇమ్మీడియేట్ స్ప్రింగ్ బూట్ మైక్రో సర్వీస్‌కెళ్ళిపోవాలి. ఇది కంప్లీట్ టైం ఉంటే చెప్తాను. యాక్చువల్‌గా నా ఓరియంటేషన్ అంతా ఏందంటే, ఈ కోర్స్‌లో పాటుగా మెయిన్ కోర్స్‌లోనే బిట్స్ బై వస్తా ఉంటాయి. అవి అవి జస్ట్ మీరు ఇంటిగ్రేట్ చేసుకుని ప్రాజెక్ట్ అయిపోతుంది. అట్లా. అందుకనే సెపరేట్‌గా కోర్స్ ఏమి ఉండదండి. సెపరేట్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ అని ఒక టాపిక్ తీసుకొని చెప్పడం ఏమి ఉండదు. మీ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది కోర్స్‌లో వస్తాయి మొత్తం అన్నీ. దాదాపు ఒకటి కాదు. మీరు ఆల్మోస్ట్ స్ప్రింగ్ బూట్‌లో మినిమమ్ ఒక 7, 8 వస్తాయి అట్లాంటివి. రిక్వైర్మెంట్ తీసుకొని చేస్తూ ఉంటాం అవన్నీ. అర్థమే కదా నేను చెప్పేది. అంటే మీరంతా అయిపోయిన తర్వాత ఒక ప్రాజెక్ట్ అది మీకు టైం వేస్ట్ అది. నేను పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది కోర్సే వస్తాయి మీకు అవన్నీ కూడా. ఓకేనా? రైట్. ఆ టైప్ ఆఫ్ ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ వస్తాయి మీకు పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది కోర్స్. థాంక్ యూ.